Hello everyone. Very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 3B. My name is Anisha and I'll be moderating this session. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 9th World Conference on Smart Trends in Systems, Security and Sustainability, WS4 2025, London, UK. The 9th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in London, UK, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom today and tomorrow, that is 20th and 21st of August 2025. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive sessions throughout the day. In this session, we have 6 presentations. Each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for question and answers. And on 10 minutes, I'll be raising a gentle reminder. There's another request to all participants that you all please stay connected with us till the closing of the session. And if you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. So just before we start with the session, I'd like to introduce you all to the chair for this session, Professor Alexander Helger. Professor Alexander is a professor at the State University of Trade and Economics, Kyiv, Ukraine. He serves in the Department of Tourism and Creative Industries Management and is an academician of the National Academy of Sciences of Higher Education of Ukraine, as well as member of the National Geographic Society of the United States. His expertise spans ecology, evolutionary biology, botany, and health economics. I welcome you to the session, sir.
Dear friends, dear colleagues, I'm very glad to invite you to World Conference of Smart Trends in Systems, Security and Sustainability. Welcome to our session. We have a very huge and very important program with a lot of different reports. Some of them are connected with plastic waste incorporated into Pavilion blocks. One of them are connected with methods of integral estimations of accuracy of swarm positioning, optimizing energy efficiency. What else? Integration thermal and facial imaging analysis using deep learning, etc., etc. It will be very great. It will be very interesting to listen to all these reports, and I wish you a good luck and have a nice session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your words, sir. We'll be moving forward to the very first presenter of the session. We have Mahadev Gawas with the paper title Integrating Thermal and Fickle Image Analysis Using Deep Learning for Early Detection of Poultry Diseases. So, do we have Mahadev here in the session?
Madam, good afternoon. Just have a request. Can you just keep my session in the second? I'll just join after one of the sessions because I'm just connecting, trying to figure out my connection issues. So if you permit, I can give my permission just after one of the sessions get completed. Maybe by second,
Okay, so
immediately
just
after
be
someone
present
else.
in this session so that we can take your presentation maybe at the end of the session also if you have a stable connection.
No. I'm almost done. But just if I could get another
Okay.
5 minutes, I'll be able to get it done.
Sure. So
Yeah.
till then we'll take the second presentation
Yeah,
and
second
then you
paper,
can.
and then I'll just immediately start. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Okay. So we have Dimitro with the paper title Method of Integral Estimation of Accuracy of Swarm Positioning by an Info Communication Network for Optoelectronic Station.
My name is Dmitro Kostorev, and today we'll present our work, method of integral estimation of swarm positioning accuracy using the info communication network of optoelectronic stations. Why this topic so important? In recent years, UAV swarms have become one of the key operational tools for strike missions. Tracking the trajectories of such swarms is a major challenge. Small UAVs are hard to detect with radar, and active ranging methods may reveal the fact of observation. Our goal is to develop a method for convert video surveillance of UAV swarms using a network of 2 optoelectronic stations, which development under our internal project called Panoptes. It means that we are in Ukraine together with cooperation with scientific institutes of radio electronics and other institutes are now in the development process of mesh network of optoelectronic stations to detect the different type of the drones. The task is to estimate the swarm positioning accuracy as a convex polyhedral region that contains the swarm with a given probability and to compute the tracking points, the centroid of this region, at every observation step. So let's talk about the main hypothesis. Each optoelectronic station's field of view is modeled as a four-sided pyramid with its apex at the station's geolocation. The faces are determined by the camera's horizontal and vertical angles of view. When two optoelectronic station units operate together, their fields of view overlap and the joint area becomes a convex polyhedron formed by intersection of two pyramids. On the slide, you can see this on other slides. You can see this geometry schematically. The advantage is that two optoelectronic station units can observe UAV without active laser ranging. We also assume that angular measurement errors of each optoelectronic stations are known and limited, and that every drone is seen by both stations inside their common coverage sites. Let's talk about the optoelectronic station's field of view of the camera installed on these optoelectronic stations. The horizontal and vertical viewing angles, alpha and beta, depends on the sensor size and the focal length of the lens. The slide shows formula, as you can see here, where H and W are the sensor dimensions and F it's a focal length. These angles define the shape of the observation pyramid. Using zoom lenses can change them, but for modeling we assume fixed values without zoom. So the field of view of each optoelectronic station is represented by 4 planes forming a pyramid inside which the UAV are detected. Also, knowing the field of view of each of optoelectronic stations, we can construct the joint surveillance area. First, we build the observation parameter for each station and its local coordinate system. Then we transform them into the global system. Their intersection defines the joint observation region, a convex polyhedron. The slide shows how two pyramids intersect. If the intersection is empty, it means the two optoelectronic stations are observing different objects. The swarm tracking, we work with the non-empty case, where both stations see the same swarm inside the joint region. Method of integral estimation. Now let's talk about the method itself. It includes several steps. Error model, we assume Gaussian errors for azimuths and the elevation measurements of the each optoelectronic stations with known variances. Projection, each UAV appears as a point on the optoelectronic station's image plane. These projections define sight lines into space. Uncertainty region, based on the errors, we expand these lines into sectors. For the whole swarm, we need a single convex region covering all UAVs simultaneously. Integral estimate. The resulting uncertainty region becomes a convex polyhedron, which represents the integral estimate of the swarm's position with a given probability. And tracking point. Finally, they compute the centroid of this polyhedron, the generalized swarm position using for tracking. On the slide, you can see the example of UAV projection on the optoelectronic station's image planes. They serve as input for construction of 3D region. Simulation parameters. we validated the method through the simulation. Parameters were set as follows. The standard deviations of optoelectronic station geolocation errors was 0.5 meters, and for direct azimuth elevation measurements, 0.1 degree. Under Gaussian assumption, the polyhedron region contains the swarm with probability 99 and 7%. We also varied the swarm size 1, 2, and 3 UAVs. So how the polyhedron changes with swarm density. The next slides illustrate these results. If we are talking about the one UAV, it's the simplest case. On the left, two optoelectronic stations units observe one drone. It's here. Their sidelines intersect at the true position. On the right, the integral estimate we can create with uncertainty region, a small convex polyhedron around the UAV. With our error assumption, the probability of the UAV being inside about 99.7%. The checking point in this case is exactly the UAV itself. Now let's talk about the two UAV. It means that two UAV, it's already the swarm of UAVs. Each optoelectronic stations produce two sight lines. Together, they can create four intersections. Two real UAV positions, it's a red dots here on the slide, and two false one, it's a blue dots. Our method does not try to eliminate false solutions. Instead, it builds a convex polyhedron covering all possible positions. The right side of the slide shows this polyhedron. The true UAVs are inside along with the false points. The checking points is diamond symbol inside the circle, inside the polyhedron, lies between the two real UAVs. The region is larger than in the one UAV case, since it must be covered multiply alternatives. And now the case with the three UAVs. For the three UAVs, each optoelectronic station provides three sight lines. Their combinations produce 9 intersections, 3 real and 6 false. Again, the integral method constructs a convex polyhedron covering all 9 points. On the slide, you see this region. The centroid diamond lies approximately in the middle of the three UAVs. The region is larger and less precise, but it guarantees coverage of the entire swarm. This shows the method universality. No matter how many UAVs are in the swarm, we can build such an estimate. And let's talk about the conclusions of our work. As you can see from these short presentations, the method is universal. The polyhedron shape depends only on the number of optoelectronic units, while its size depends on swarm density and statistical error parameters. With known error variances, it's easy to compute the probability that all UAVs are inside the region. The method is conservative. The region includes real UAV as well as fictitious points, slightly overestimated the area. The polyhedron has relatively few phases, making it suitable for real-time processing. And it's very important for us because we're talking about live stream, and real-time processing was one of the most important things in comparison with ellipsoid model, for example. Polyhedron give us additional advantages. So the proposed method provides a practical and reliable way to estimate swarm positioning accuracy using two passive optoelectronic stations. Thanks for your attention. I'm open for questions.
I have one question, if you please. Thank you very much for your report. It's very interesting. It's very unusual situation and very interesting methods. What about practical usage of these methods? Can we use them for military purposes, or maybe for agriculture one, or maybe in industrial as an industrial equipment. Please tell something more about.
As I told you, yeah, as I told you in the beginning of our presentation, these methods are already in usage in our project called Panotes. It's for military purposes, for drone detection, and now we have a good results with detection of the drones, especially the Shaheds, with and the integration with some local air defense systems. But the swarm of the drones is like the next things if we are talking about the military operations. And these methods will be included into our software. Unfortunately, I can't show you real prototype and real stations because it's it's a little bit close information. But it would be great to connect with you directly and to communicate about that. Especially we have one station installed somewhere in Kiev. And another one, of course, it can be dual use technology. It can be used for swarm of the birds. And it was personal discussion between me and between service company in Berlin airport who is interested in such technology to detect the birds, which, the birds, it's one of the most dangerous things in modern aircraft and for airports. And it will be a next steps because single birds are not interesting for them. And as I know, there are no effective, 100% effective solutions at this moment to detect the birds and to do something with them at this moment in modern airports. So we have an opportunity to use such technology on the next version, on civilian version of our optoelectronic stations for airport security for both for
Airports
drones
and
and for
transport
birds
lines,
too.
maybe not only
Yeah,
airport,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
other
Not
transport
only
line.
airports. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next questions, please. Okay, thanks for attention. Thanks for this opportunity to present it for such perfect auditory, and I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the presentation. So now we have Mahadev. So are you ready
Yes,
with your presentation?
yes. But I think
So
my video is disabled from your host.
you can start your video again.
Okay. Just give me a second. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Am I audible? My voice is clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Good evening for all the attendees for this conference. Myself, Dr. Gavas. So this project is in the collaboration with the co-author Mridini Gavas. So I'm from State Higher Education Council, and the co-author is from the School of Physical and Applied Sciences from Goa University. So this today's I'll be presenting this work on integrating thermal and fecal image analysis using a deep learning for the early detection of poultry diseases. As I mentioned, this is a joint research between myself and the co-author Mridini from Goa University. So to brief with this, the outline of my presentation is going to be introduction, then related work, we'll see about the literature survey, then what are the methodologies that we have procured for this. We'll see some of the experimentation results and what was the setup to conduct these experiments. And then we'll have a discussion and probably the future work for this. Now to begin with this, now when we talk about the poultry industry, it actually plays a vital role in global food security and livelihoods. But however, if it is very vulnerable when we talk about the disease outbreaks such as avian influenza, Newcastle disease, coccidiosis, and salmonellosis. Now, these outbreaks normally cause very significant economic losses to the farmers. And if you talk about the traditional diagnostic methods like PCR or ELISAs are very reliable, but they are very invasive and very time consuming, and more importantly, it's very stressful for the birds as well. Now, what is the motivation for going ahead with this research ideas? The more important, the first question comes is that how we can detect these diseases very faster, more accurately, and without stressing the animals. Now, the advances in artificial intelligence and sensing technologies now allows us to make sure that we build a rapid, non-invasive tools that works directly at the farm level. Now, by combining this thermal imaging with the fecal image analysis, we can increase the reliability and improve the diagnosis as early as possible. Now, what are the traditional methods that we have been working to figure out those diseases in our farms? Now, conventionally, disease detection relies more on the physical examinations and the molecular tests like the PCR and ELISAs. But as I mentioned, that it is quite harmful for the animals. While the accurate, these methods can take up to, in fact, 48 hours. And delaying this intervention may actually lead to the loss of those the poultry birds. They also require the skilled personnel and invasive sampling. You have to be very precise while taking the samples of those birds, and you need to have a very skillful person for that. Now, when we talk about this particular the artificial intelligence or non-invasive methods, now normally these non-invasive approaches are becoming very promising at this moment. Quite a different technology has evolved over a period of time. And when we talk about those thermal imagings, can actually detect these physiological changes such as the abnormal heart heat patterns. Now, there are multiple machine learning techniques, including SVM, NN, ANN, artificial neural networks, then KNN, and which has been applied successfully for these classifications. Now, when we talk about the deep learning, which is just one step ahead of this artificial intelligence, the convolution neural networks have been used for a fecal image analysis, identifying the diseases like coccidiosis, salmonella. Now, this audio analysis of poultry sound is also emerging as we call as audio and video, and then we have something called as a multimodal technology, which remains very sensitive to the noise as well. Now, talking about the framework, how we actually made the overall framework to capture this AI and deep neural networks. Now, this framework integrates two diagnostic parts. One is the thermal imaging and fecal images. Now, we need to make sure that we have to classify them, how the thermal can be imaging has to be classified and the fecal imaging has to be classification. Now, the goal is to achieve early automated and accurate diagnostics without invasive tests, without making it error prone. And integrating helps us to ensure that greater reliability of the integrated system. Now, what was the approach for going with the thermal imaging approach? So what we did is we collected data from almost 60 different farms, almost around 308 boilers were divided into healthy, some of them which were physically identified with the avian influenza and Newcastle diseases. Now, using a FLIR T640 thermal camera, which is a very high sensitivity for thermal, we extracted almost 23 features of it, including statistical measures, texture description using a GLCM, and different shape descriptors. Now, with this classification was then performed using a SVM, that is a support vector machine, and ANN, that is artificial neural networks. Now, for the fecal analysis, we use this data sets of almost 3,000 labeled images covering the healthy samples, coccidiosis, salmonella, and Newcastle diseases. Now, after pre-processing and resizing the augmentation, we train the convolution neural networks model using a mobile net v2 and exceptions. Now, both were fine-tuned from the ImageNet. Now, evaluation was based on the accuracy, precision, recall, and some of the confusion matrices. Now, the system integration was done using both the approaches. So thermal imaging act as a first step, and uncertain cases were validated using a fecal image analysis. Now, for decision fusion, we use the Dempster-Sheffer theory, which helps resolving the ambiguity. And for GUI protocol prototype, we built in a Python using a TensorFlow, OpenCV, and Skynet Learn tool. Now, for the experimental setups, that was quite challenging for us. We had to ensure that this has got a more precision than having it on the high core and with a multiple GPU processing system. So what we did is we had in a biosafety level 2 laboratory using a 60 boilers. Thermal imaging was done for every 6 hours, post infection up to almost to 48 hours. We to perform this computational, we had to use the Intel i7 processor. So it had almost 2 GPU core, 32 GB RAM was there. We had a NVIDIA GPU card, and we use a Python, TensorFlow, Keras, and OpenCV for this implementation. Now, looking at the results, how we actually got the results after performing this for over 3,000 samples and having the setup under the observations, there are certain limitations with the different simple sample size as well. If you just have to talk about with the thermal imaging results. Now, in the thermal imaging, what we could observe from here is that SVM model has achieved almost 97.2 accuracy for the avian influenza and almost 100% for Newcastle disease, literally outperforming this artificial neural networks, which achieved a 94.6 and 96.3 respectively. Now, when we did the fusion of these results, it actually improved the diagnostic confidence by 8%, and the false positivity was increased by 17%. Now, if you talk about this particular fecal image results, now for fecal classification, we used a MobileNet V2, which achieved almost 98.3 precision accuracy, and the exception achieved 98.7. The misclassifications were minimal and mainly between the Salmonella and Newcastle disease. Now, both the models were robust, and even though the augmented data sets of around 15,000 images. Then we did the comparison of these models, and when we did, we could make out that overall SVM model consistently outperformed the ANN for thermal imaging. ROC curves showed a strong classification ability with AAC values of almost 0.96 for avian influenza and 0.99 for the Newcastle disease. Fusion model actually confirmed a higher precision and recall, improving the robustness. When we talk about this ROC curves for the thermal imaging models, if you could make out from that particular, the ROC curves actually demonstrated a strong classification ability. The AI detected almost 0.96 and the ND detected almost around 0.99. So both the models were very high sensitive and very specific to the system. This is, I just had mentioned that SVM actually outperformed the ANN in all the matrices. The fusion matrix actually performed a better precision and recall compared to the SVM. Then we did a comparative analysis. Now, again, this comparative analysis, as I mentioned, that SVM performed better in ANN thermal classification compared to the fecal classification. The exception was slightly better than mobile VNet for fecal images. We tried for both the systems. And when we actually had a dual model integration, it imposed a reliability of more on prediction sides. Now, what was the key insight for us while doing this exercise, the whole experimental setups, based on what was the motive that we started off? The result demonstrated that the multimodal, when we use the multimodal, the non-invasive disease detection system in both feasible and it was very high accurate. Lightweight, when we use this lightweight convolution neural networks, it enabled on the farm and the real-time deployment was more effective, ensuring the high precision and recall across the multiple diseases. Now, when we talk about the limitations, what we actually got the results and how we could actually have improvised on these aspects, there are some limitations, like for example, the sample size was relatively small. We do understand because we need to make sure that We in fact had to cover from the different geographical locations and to see the precision. And because it should not happen that based on the different geographical location, our precision on CNN should not be differing. And the experimentals were conducted in a very controlled lab conditions. And now we expect that this has to be done in large farms with a bigger different sizes. In fact, the real farm environments may introduce an additional challenges when we see it in the open environment. And hopefully for our future work, we should be including the larger data sets, multiple farms with the different geological locations, and integration of the various environmental variables like such as the different weather conditions, humidity, or say, for example, bioacoustics as well. To conclude with the results and the experiments that we conducted, and based on the initial motive, what we could actually conclude is that our dual approach, almost combining this SVM for thermal imaging and CNN for fecal image classification, ensured that a robust detection of poultry diseases. And the system achieved almost the accuracy of 99% across the multiple diseases, and showing more strong potential to reduce economical losses by enabling the early interventions in the poultry farm. So the future plan is that we want to make sure that we experiment this in the real farms with the bigger sizes, with the different geographical, geopolitical systems, and making sure that we have a high-end computing system to make sure that whether the precision works out to be in a similar way what we did in the controlled lab conditions. Okay. So that was my presentations. Thank you, everyone. So I would be interested if anyone has a questions. Anybody has a question?
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
your report. It was very interesting for me. I have one more question, if you please. Um, can we use your methods only for detect poultry diseases, or maybe can we use it to detect diseases, or, for example, horses, rabbits,
Yes, I got your
pigs,
point,
maybe
sir. So,
pets?
yeah, I got your point. Yeah. So now with this, what happens, the system actually with this thermal, when we talk about the thermal images, we need to understand the different parameters of that animal. Like, for example, if you say it is a horse or a pig or anybody else. So that parameters you'll have to decide, because ultimately you'll have to decide what is the normal parameters for that animal and what are the abnormal parameters for that. So what we did it was for the poultry farm, for the chickens. And what we could actually realize is that we took the parameters for the poultry chickens of their thermal and for the fecal, and we decided from the veterinary doctors what was the ideal parameters values for them to be in a normal condition and what is that abnormal values for. So if you could do this for, that's what our plan also is future. Good question that you asked me. If you could actually decide the parameters of the different animals, whether it could be pig or could be anything, and you could decide using this technique, you can just use it for any other farms or any other animals which are having these certain parameters, where these experimental setups can capture those videos and parameters.
Very interesting. And what about wild birds?
Yeah,
Not
that's what I said. It could be anything. The only thing is that we'll have to consult with the veterinary doctors and just make sure that what are those abnormals and normal parameters that we'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure it out what exactly that, what are the diseases that which makes them these parameters to fluctuate from normal to abnormal or to any other get deviate from their normal, and then we can decide and use the same setup for any other disease detection for any other farms.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Next up, we have Mridini Gawas with the paper title Optimizing Energy Efficiency and Quality of Service in Fog Computing with a Decentralized Blockchain Framework.
Yeah, hello everyone. Myself, Dr. Mridini Gawas, and this is a joint work between Dr. Mahadev Gawas and Mridini Gawas. So the outline of the talk is I'll be talking about the background and the motivation, then the contributions and the architecture, the design details, models and scheduling, and prototypes and results. So the background, the fast growth of IoT creates a strict need for low delay, high speed, and privacy. Fog and edge computing move storage and processing closer to the devices, And this helps reduce delay and network load. But the challenges remains like high energy use, quality of service, and security. A good solution is decentralized coordination using the permission blockchains. The motivation behind this research and the problem statement, the centralized schedulers face problems when systems grow big and use different resources. So there is a need for energy saving and quality assured services at the fog layer. The lack of trust between the different users and domains makes the management difficult. The services must be transparent with auditability and strong SLA enforcement. Our goal is to save the energy while keeping the quality service using a blockchain-based framework. Key contributions. The main contributions from our side are a centralized framework is built for coordination using the permission blockchain. This provides a task scheduling that saves the energy while ensuring the quality service. Lightweight consensus methods are used for fast and secure decisions. Also, the smart contracts help enforce SLA policies automatically. A prototype shows a better results in terms of lower delay and energy use. Moving on to the system architecture overview, the system has three layers, the IoT devices, fog nodes, and the cloud. Fog nodes use a permission blockchain for coordination and record keeping. The smart contracts manage SLA, usage tracking, and access control. The edge devices use digital identities through PKI for security. Privacy is also protected by storing the sensitive data off-chain with secure pointers. More detail about the permission blockchain design. A permission blockchain is shared by fog operators for secure coordination. The smart contracts manage SLA rules, pricing, then access control, and dispute handling. Consensus methods like PBFT or Raft keep decisions fast and low cost. Only small hashes are stored on chain to save the space. And in order to protect the privacy, the large data and the telemetry are kept off chain. The security and the trust mechanism. The trust mechanisms which are being considered in this particular research are the devices use lightweight PKI for identity, onboarding, and regular certificate updates. Access is controlled by a role or attribute-based rules written in smart contracts. Ethics like Cybil, Replay, or DOS are reduced with rate limits, quorum, and TEEs. All actions are recorded in immutable audit trails. This records help with compliance and forensic checks. The energy model, the node's power, you use a model as ideal power plus the extra based on utilization. The total energy is being calculated over time using the continuous or the discrete formulas, as you can see it on the screen. Network energy cost depends on the traffic size and the hop distance. Different methods like DBFS, workload consolidation, and sleep states help to save the energy. This model combines both node and network cost for the accurate estimation. The QoS model. So the total latency is the sum of the queue delay, the compute delay, and the network delay. So tasks must finish within that deadline to meet the QoS needs. The chance of meeting the deadline should be at least equal to the SLA level. The pocket loss and throughput are also measured as part of QoS. The penalties apply when these QoS requirements are not satisfied. Optimization. Energy QoS trade-off. So this is optimization formula which we have used, where we have taken this lambda belonging to the closed and bounded interval 0, 1, and phi QoS is the weighted sum of the latency, miss, throughput deficit, and the loss. Next, about the scheduling and orchestration. The tasks are admitted based on SLA tiers and managed with priority queues at the fork. The placement of task is done using the heuristics like greedy methods and the local search. The smart contracts handle metering, pricing, and automatic SLA enforcement are used. The telemetry data is used as feedback to adjust the scheduling with changing loads. So this ensures a very fair, efficient, and an adaptive task orchestration. Prototype and the test bed. The prototype uses fog nodes built on 86 times or ARM boards running the containerized services. A permission blockchain with PBFT or Raft is used and access to a REST gateway. The workloads are designed as synthetic IoT pipelines with CPU, IO, or mixed tasks. The performance here is measured using the use of energy, the latency, the deadline success, and the overheads. So this setup actually helps to test the system in a realistic environment. Then here are the results on the energy savings. The system saves 15 to 30% energy compared to normal fog setups for mixed tasks. Most savings they come from DVFS, task consolidation, and network aware placement. The energy use is being reduced without heavy changes to performance. The QoS tier 1 deadlines are almost always met, and this shows that the energy can be saved while keeping the service quality high. Then here are the results on latency and the throughput. So you can see that the system shows lower 95th and 99 percentile latency even during the peak load. So more tasks meet their deadlines, especially for high priority flows. Overall, the throughput is higher compared to the baseline. The blockchain adds less than 8% CPU overhead, and it also causes under 5% extra latency, which is comparatively very small. Overheads and the scalability. The permission consensus gives fast final results with low energy use. The system can scale to thousands of devices using shaded and clustered fog domains. The storage pruning helps to control the blockchain size as the system grows. The off-chain data storage keeps the large data out of the chain while staying secure, and audibility is maintained even at the large scale. So here is one of the case study which we have done on smart city sensing. So this case study uses cameras and sensors deployed across the different city districts. The workloads are shared by many tenants for smart city applications. The SLA tiers are set as the P1 as the public safety, then we have P2 as the mobility, and P3 as the environment. So the smart contracts build trust across different domains and operators. Energy-aware task placement lowers the overall cost while meeting the SLAs. There are a few limitations in this particular model. So the heuristic scheduler is not always, the globally optimal, and it depends on the chosen weights. The blockchain ledger nodes add some extra load on low power devices. Then the different types of devices make power modeling harder and less accurate. So these factors limit performance in certain scenarios. And in order to overcome this, more advanced methods are needed. So in the conclusion and the scope for the future work, A decentralized permission blockchain helps to improve the trust, energy savings, and the quality service. The prototype research shows real benefits with only small overhead. The system proves that fog and blockchain can work well together. The future work will focus on adaptive consensus and federated learning at the edge. And also, there are plans to support the cross domain SLAs for wider use. So, here are a few of the references. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your report. It was very interesting for me, and it's very unusual concept as for me. Mm, I have one question. How do you think? What about? Let me see. What about some forecasting of optimizing energy efficiency and quality of services? How can we forecast them? What models can we use for forecasting?
Sir, actually, we have not, thought about that at this particular stage, but maybe in future we'll like to.
Um,
Get the question. If I'm the co-author, can I answer that question?
okay.
Please ask that question, sir, again.
What forecasting models we can use in this case, in this situation, for optimizing energy efficiency in fog computing? What forecasting models can be used?
See, right now, sir, what we did was we did not thought of having this forecasting about this in the in a advanced probability. Probably that is the one we can look at for a future work. Right now, we worked on the actual data, what we got it from the available data, and we worked on that data. So we did not had any thought of working on the future data or predicting on the future models or predicting the analysis about that. But probably that we can take up and look forward for that as a future work.
I understand you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I understand you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the presentation. Now we'll be moving forward to our next presenter. Up we have Rakhi Bhardwaj with the paper title SAR Image Colorization for Comprehensive Insight Using a Deep Learning Model, a Literature Survey. Rakhi, are you here?
So thank you for the opportunity. I would like to take this opportunity to present my work that is SAR image colorization for comprehensive insight using the deep learning. I would like to introduce myself. Myself, Dr. Rakhi Bharadwaj. I'm working as an assistant professor in Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, Pune, India. So the outline of my work is introduction. We are moving towards the problem statement, literature review, objectives, and what the methodology along with the results and conclusion. So synthetic aperture radar, that is a SAR, basically is the technology used to capture the high resolution images of the Earth's surface and under the various conditions that we are calling occlusion in terms of our deep learning and machine learning, where the conditions in the light can be varied. Because of that, images cannot be properly visible. To make it properly visible, just removing the noise, we are using this methodologies. However, the problem with the SAR or whatever the traditional images are there, they are typically in a grayscale and limiting their interpretability. So to overcome this grayscale visibility, this problem is addressed in a deep learning techniques, that is convolution neural networks as well as generative adversarial networks, and have been employed to colorize the SAR images. So why this is going to be used? Because this will enhance their usual appeal as well as the usability. So the various applications are there for the SAR colorization of the images are there that can be used in urban planning, disaster management, environmental monitoring, and military operations are there. So the problem statement we have taken from the Indian Space Research Organization, and we have tried to work on that. So to develop a deep learning based SAR image colorization model that can enhance the feature distinction and interpretability for applications such as environmental monitoring and geological studies. So we just got the motivation from the NISAR, which represents the unprecedented international collaboration that will provide the critical information to better the manage natural resources and hazards, so that we can just have the better effects of the pace of the climate changes. So synthetic aperture radar, SAR imaginary, it is a form of the radar that creates the high resolution images by emitting the microwave signals and processing the reflected echoes from the ground. The advantages of this technology is that we are having all weather capabilities that changes that can be operated through the cloud, rain, and foggy environments. It can have the day and night operations as well as good penetrations, which can be used for the applications to find out the types of the vegetations and the soils as well as the high resolutions. So which is providing us the detailed surface structuring of the imaging. The challenges we have faced while we are just implementing this synthetic radar application is converting the grayscale imaginary to the RGB with the limited resources, because our hardware, that is whatever the laptops or whatever the systems we are having, it is having the limitations of the resources. So with the limitations of the resources to convert this R to the RGB images, we just found it little bit challenging. So interpretation challenges we have faced is that the one of the, as I have mentioned, grayscale limitations, non-intuitive, and the speckle noises are there. So looking at the images, the SAR images are basically gray in a nature, grayscale in a nature, and after converting that to the colorization, which can be looked, so difference is visible. So we have gone through the various literatures reviews and whatever the available data is there. So some of the data I would like to highlight, which are just focusing on the various techniques that help us to implement this application. So SAR image colorization, comprehensive insight that is provided by the 2024 by the Shakti Priya. The model was based on the unit and it used the realistic RGB images to color the data or images. Then another is nothing but multi-scale feature fusion network with the symmetric attentions, and that is used basically the dual stream networks. So along with this kind of the advanced or latest recent papers are available or work available by the authors, we have gone through and we came to know that to colorize the image, the deep learning is the most effective method along with the GAN generators. So going through this various available literatures, we just came to the research gap. That is traditional approach to SAR image analysis have primarily relied on the rule-based algorithms, manual interpretations, and basic image fusion techniques are there. While these methods offered some level of the enhancement and feature extractions, they often lack scalability, visual clarity, and fail to generalize across the varied retain or environmental conditions. So, moreover, the grayscale nature of a SAR images made interpretation challenging for non-experts. So, recent advancement in a deep learning, particularly CNN and GAN, offer the transformative approach by learning the complex spatial patterns and enabling the realistic colorization. So, using the understanding the research gap, we have framed the objective of my work. So transform grayscale SAR images into the colorized version and make it more visually intuitive and easy to analyze. Then second objective we have framed to create the deep learning model which is capable for the effectively mapping of the SAR data to optical imaginary, addressing challenges such as speckle noise. Maintain the structural integrity and realism generated images by the optimizing evaluation matrix. That is our next objective. Implement the iterative improvements by fine-tuning parameters and incorporating additional data based on the evaluation feedback. Improve the usability of the SAR imaginary for applications like urban mapping and remote sensing by providing the colorized output. So the methodology that we have used is nothing but it is a pipeline. In that pipeline, we have used the data preparation, network architecture, training the model, performance evaluation, algorithmic approach. So the technological usage that we have used in this case is nothing but frameworks, deep learning frameworks were there, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and pre-processing is NumPy, OpenCV, and Python. So the domain knowledge we have used is nothing but understanding the deep learning model, SAR image processing, and tools used to image translation. As well as we have used the tools dataset, that is CENI1 dataset we have used in this case, evaluation, SkyKit, that is SkyKit images, and the matrices for the structural similarity and finding out the PSNR. As well as along with that, testing and development, Google Colab. So real world impact of the application whenever we are using pix-to-pix GAN in SR image, so we have found that urban and land cover mapping, as well as environmental monitoring, as well as the autonomous navigation by using the drones, satellites, and vehicles. These are the various applications we have used. So looking at the architectural diagram of the system, the model is divided into the, or architecture is divided into the various methods or various models were there. As we are using the GAN, or we have used the GAN, so encoder, data processing, SAR to RGB project architecture, where we are using the front end because this is the web page. So access the web app, upload the image, view the gallery. For all these various tasks, how we use the front end. Next, .js API, process image route and gallery route. We have called the API. We have fetched the image, which is provided to the backend. The backend is nothing but used for the Flux API, and we are going to use the inference engine as well as we have uploaded the image on the various platforms. The model training, for the model training, we are train the data by using the scripts. We are having the checkpoint, and this model checkpoints are provided for the model conversion. So this model conversion again provided for the backend, so that if any improvement or if any loss is there, we are just optimizing it. So here basically we have used the Sentinel pairing images are there, which is used by the terrain. So it's Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2. Sentinel-1 are the SAR images and 2 are the RGB images. So C-band synthetic aperture radar operating at 405 gigahertz, and as well as along with the ground range detected product 10M resolution. So these are the various features we have used with having the dual polarization, all weather conditions, and Sentinel-2 is our RGB images. They are multispectral optical imaginary, 13 spectral band with 10M resolution for RGB bands, used as a ground truth for the colorization training, level 2A atmospherically corrected products. So why we have used the pix-to-pix? Because it is a conditional GAN framework for the image to image translation task. Here we have used the unit-based generator. So in that we are having the downsampling with 8 convolution blocks, C64 to C512 extract deep spatial features, up sampling where 8 transpose convolution blocks are reconstructed with the image, and we can skip the connection for the detail prevention. So optional dropout layer improves in this process for the generalization and reduce the overfitting. We have used the discriminator 70 by 70 patch GAN, which can operate on a small patches rather than the entire image. instead of the full image and encourages the higher frequency accuracy and sharpness in generation of the images. Here we have used the training strategy, that is the loss function. Adversarial loss, that is the GAN loss, encourages the realistic image generator. L1 loss, which ensure the structural similarity with ground truth. We have used the optimizers, Adam, batch size 1, limited by the GPU memory, and trained for the 70 epochs. Checkpointing and monitoring, we are just done by model weights and the sample outputs saved periodically. Here, what we have learned is that mapping between the input and output image domains, paired trained data, that is, whether it is as per the expected outputs are there, and we have taken the reference here published by the ILA, it is 217. So as I have mentioned, we have generated the website, and for that we have used the front-end architecture. We have used the back-end architecture. So where we can upload the images and we can convert that images to the RGB or various color models are there. So methodology for the evaluation purpose we have considered here is mean square error MSE, then PSNR and structural similarity index. So the results of by using this evaluation we can say parameters, we are having the results with the various earth surfaces where we are having the agricultural surfaces, we are having the land surfaces, and like that we have tried our with the various images are there. So we just got the MSC 240, PSNR 24.32, dB, SSIM 0.569. In the similar fashion for the barren land, we are having the improved parameters of the evaluations are there. Along with the previous two surfaces, we have worked that on the grassland, urban land. So I would like to conclude this presentation with a brief conclusion that SAR image colorization using deep learning model is a transformative approach is here that bridges the gap between complex SAR data and human interpretation. By making SAR imagery more accessible and intuitive, this technique opens up new possibilities for analysis applications in various fields, ultimately contributing to more informed and effective decision making. So here I have used the various references. Thank you, and open for the questions. If any questions are there.
Thank you very much for your report. Thank you very much for your report. It was very interesting for me. I have some investigations connecting with Earth remote sensing. So I have one question for you. Can we use your methods, for example, for investigations of sorry, for example, for land rent use, rent estimations of lands, or maybe for calculation of different efficiency of land use on the territory, on urban land or maybe agricultural land. How can we use your method for these investigations and calculation of rent, land rent? Thank you.
Yeah, sir. We are just planning to just work on various such applications. So that's why we have taken the data set of the various lands and the various data samples we have taken, which is having the various earth surfaces are there, where agriculture as well as whenever the land which is having some disasters kind flood and other kind of natural disaster calamities are there. So we are even planning to just work or use that data set so that we can find more helpful solutions for the society. So this is from my side, as well as we are open for the collaboration with the universities, as I'm working as a associate dean research and development. So if any collaborations are available, so I'm looking for that too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you for the presentation. Moving on to the next one, we have Eugenio Mora with the paper title VoIP Information Security Assessment Methodology. Sir Eugenio, do we have you here in the session?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I am José Luis Verdeguer, the author of the presentation. He is the author and is not here.
So you're the co-author of the paper, right?
Okay, yes. No, I am the author. He is the co-author. Okay, I said both voice over IP or VoIP is a technology that allows phone calls over the internet instead of traditional lines. It converts voice into digital packets using protocols like SIP, RTP, or WebRTC. The move from the old public switched telephone network, or PSTN, to VoIP has transformed communication for both users and companies. Its main benefits are cost savings and flexibility. Calls, especially international ones, are much cheaper, and the same number can be used anywhere with internet access. VoIP also integrates with emails, messaging, video calls, and business tools like CRMs, creating a complete communication system. However, VoIP also brings new security risks. Because it works over the internet, it shares vulnerabilities with other online services like email or web, making it easier for attackers to find and target systems. Furthermore, if traffic is not encrypted, calls might be exposed to eavesdropping or session hijacking. Voice system need not only technical protection, but also must follow different laws and regulations. These rules include data protection, cybersecurity, and telecom laws. In Europe, the most important law is the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which protects personal data. This is very important for both systems because they manage things like call records, voice recordings, and signaling data. Because of this, it is necessary to use encryption, access control, data anonymization, and activity logs. In Spain, for example, if VoIP is used in the public sector, it must follow the National Security Framework, or ENS. This rule is mandatory and classifies systems as basic, medium, or high risk, with different security requirements. Other countries in Europe have similar rules. There are also international standards. For example, the ISO 27001 explains how to build a security management system. The ISO 27002 gives advice on security controls that work well for VoIP systems. In the European Union, the first law focusing on cybersecurity was the NIS directive. It told companies that provide essential services to manage risks and report incidents. The newer version, called NIS 2, includes more sectors and adds more obligations, including VoIP providers. Another law called DORA is for banks and financial companies. It asks them and the technology providers, including VoIP platforms, to follow digital security rules. Outside Europe, other countries also have their own rules. For example, in the United States, the NIST SP 853 document gives security and privacy rules for federal and important systems. In Canada, the ITSG 33 guideline explains how to manage security risks in government and critical infrastructures, including VoIP systems. In the last few years, concern about VoIP security has grown, leading to many methods and tools. However, many of these options still have important problems. Some don't cover all the important areas, others are not well adapted to the way VoIP really works, and many are not connected to current security laws or standards. A general framework like the Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual, or OSSTMM, the Penetration Testing Execution Standard, or PTES, or the Open Web Application Security Project, also known as OWASP, are useful for IT systems such as networks or websites. However, they are not designed for VoIP and do not cover its specific risks, protocols, or configurations. There are also VoIP-focused methods such as SIPMAN. SIPMAN explains SIP and RTP vulnerabilities in detail, but it has clear limits. It does not include encryption such as TLS or SRTP, does not cover newer technologies like WebRTC, ignores services like STUN, TURN, or ICE protocol, and does not include current legal or regulatory requirements or practical tests. Because of this, it is hard to apply in real VoIP security audits today. In VoIP security, there are many open source tools that help check different parts of the system, like signaling, audio traffic, and infrastructure. But most of these tools only cover part of the system, and they are not part of a full structured methodology. One of the most popular tools is the CPC suite. It is used to scan and discover SIP systems. It can do things like find valid users, for passwords, and detect exposed servers. However, the free version does not support encrypted protocols like TLS or SRTP. Another important tool is CPTS, developed by the author of this presentation. It is completely free and allows auditing real-world scenarios. It can scan UDP, TCP, and TLS, check authentication, analyze RTP traffic, inject audio, and test known vulnerabilities. For STUN and TURN, which are often used in WebRTC, there are two key tools, STUN Check and Stunner, which finds information leaks and open real relay problems. The Metasploit framework is not made for VoIP specifically, but it does include SIP modules, and it can do fuzzing, user discovery, and denial of service attacks. There are also some interesting tools like SIP Army Knife, which help you register and make basic SIP calls, and SIP-P, which is a well-known application that can generate SIP traffic, simulate complex tests, check authentication, or perform load testing. For passive analysis, Wireshark is an essential tool. With its VoIP plugins, you can analyze call, listen to audio, and check service quality or authentication behavior. The VoIP audit process starts with reconnaissance. In this phase, the auditor looks for devices, domains, ports, and services such as SIP, RTP, or WebRTC that are visible. Many attacks happen because services are left open by mistake. The next step is enumeration and fingerprinting. Here, the auditor collects more details like active SIP extensions, software version, and system settings. This helps to plan attacks and find systems that are old or weak. After that comes configuration and policy review. The auditor checks things like default passwords, dialing rules, NAT, STUN, TURN, if encryption or access control is used. Even if there are no software bugs, bad setting can still create risks. Then the system is tested for vulnerabilities and possible exploitation. The auditor tests the system using phishing, brute force attacks, changing SIP headers, or pretending to be a fake device to make calls. If the auditor has local network access, traffic analysis is possible. This means checking if calls are encrypted, capturing login attempts, and looking for leaks or bad configurations. In the post-exploitation phase, the system is already compromised. The auditor checks what an attacker could do, like creating fake accounts, redirecting calls, or listening to voicemails. The last step is reporting and remediation. The auditor writes the results, explains the risks, and gives advice on how to fix the problems and improve the system. VoiceArm aims to be a tool that allows auditors to follow a structured methodology when performing a penetration test. It is not just a checklist of steps, but goes deeper into the technical, legal, and operational aspects that are specific to VoIP. First, it includes a complete penetration testing cycle designed for VoIP, providing clear technical steps aligned with the protocols and devices used in VoIP, such as SIP proxies, PBX, or SBCs. VoiceArm is not just theory. It uses tools and proof of concept tests to find and confirm vulnerabilities and signaling media or support services. It also addresses modern threats that other methods often overlook, such as WebRTC and technologies like Stun, Turn, or ICE. In addition, it seeks to align with laws and regulations such as GDPR, the NIS and NIS2 directive, or the ISO 27001. In conclusion, VoiceArm aims to be a complete and practical way to audit the security of a VoIP system, covering technical, legal, and operational aspects. Looking ahead, future work includes the partial automation of the methodology through scripts, plugins, and continuous validation environments. It also aims to integrate VoiceArm into periodic security verification pipelines, expand support for advanced scenarios with artificial intelligence, and formalize the methodology as an open and collaborative framework. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your report. How do you think? Can we use some artificial intelligence technology for this to realize this problem of security assessment, or this is quite different from your methodology?
I think you can today people use artificial intelligence security audit, and I think it is possible to use also with VoIP because you can do tests more quickly, and also it helps you to protect analysis. For example, analyzing logs is quicker. Learn a lot of things in a few time. I think it is very interesting to apply the artificial intelligence to our work.
How do you think? Can we use your methods in corporate intelligence systems, or maybe in government intelligence, or maybe for in personal security, or what about the difference of their usage in these cases?
Yes, you can you see the main difference is what I said. With this methodology, you can you go aligned with laws of the actual laws, like GDPR or NIS 2, and you can follow a structured methodology to audit or to do a penetration test. I work doing auditing companies with their phone system. And actually, there are not a methodology that you can follow to do this kind of work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. And with that, we have concluded all our papers for this session. I'll just like to quickly announce the names of the presenters who haven't presented yet. So we had Heap LC and Anna Ortiz Winen. Do we have them or any of the co-authors of the paper right now in the session? Okay, I believe they're not here, so we'll count them as absent. So yeah, with that, we have completed all our presentation for this session, and I sincerely thank all our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough for you all. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you all for the support during this 9th version of the conference and all the previous 8 versions as well. We will be happy to have you in the 10th version in 2026. And all the presenters would be getting their digital certificates within 2 working days. For all the papers have already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 7 to 8 months. So kindly cooperate with the team of WS4 2025.
I have one question.
Now, yeah.
Can we get this the payment fee receipt in a digital format separately, if possible? If you could send a request.
Yes, so you will be receiving a mail regarding that with the thank you letters and the receipt of the paper as well within next 1 to 2 working days.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Please, I don't know if I am in the best room. I don't know if I am in the best room. I don't know. It is the end of the presentation. I am. It is. I don't know.
Sir, could you please let me know your name
My name is Siri Abdullahi, and
and your paper
because
ID?
yes, my paper ID is 168. I don't know the time. I don't know. It may be the GMT and
168,
BS.
right. No, actually, your
Okay.
presentation is in the next session, so you will have to join the next session, which is after 1.5 an hour. Sorry, after
Okay.
1 hour.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, before ending the session, I would just like to thank our session chair for chairing the session. And here is a small token of appreciation on behalf of the team of WS4 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. So thank you so much for your valuable presence, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say that we have very fruitful conversation, and we have discussed a lot of unique reports in our session about uh, estimation of accuracy of swarm positioning, about poultry diseases, about fog computing, in decentralized blockchain network. What else? Information security assessment, colorization of images in remote Earth sensing, and a lot of other. I would like to thanks to all speakers of our section. Thank you very much, and I hope we will have another fruitful meetings with you on our next conferences. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your remarks, sir. And now I'll just request you all to please switch on your cameras for the snapshot. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you in the